It's pretty hard to go a day without remembering that we are currently in the midst of a global pandemic, especially since all of our lives have changed in such a dramatic way since its spread. And even though the virus is getting a lot less media coverage than it once was, we all need to remember that this virus is still very much a threat that needs to be taken seriously. But like with anything in life, not everyone is taking it seriously, and it seems like LA-based influencers could honestly care less about the pandemic, as they've all been going out to overcrowded parties with no masks on. Hey, what's up guys, it's Mackenzie here, and today on the channel I'm going to be filling you in on the top 10 influencers that have been caught partying during COVID. And this list is incredibly juicy but also really infuriating at the same time. Like, even when influencers know they can get canceled for just about anything these days, they still decide to cancel themselves and attend parties, then take a bunch of pictures and put it online. Like, make it make sense. It's ridiculous. But anyways, in today's video, I'm going to be exposing the influencers who have been going out and telling you which ones have apologized and which ones just hoped it would go away. So without further ado, let's get into that list. Starting off at number 10, we have Tana Mojo. In my mind, Tana kick-started the partying trend, because her and her friend group were the first people that I saw that were out partying before any of the big parties really happened. But it's pretty much a universal law at this point that if there is an LA party going down, Tana's gonna be there. I think she's attended every major party that has taken place recently, and even worse, she's the one documenting pretty much all of it too, and telling her fans that it's okay to go out and party like she is. She was first spotted out with Francesca Farrago, then Abby Rayo and Jake Paul multiple times, and she's attended multiple birthday parties in the last few weeks, as well as dinners and private hangouts with practically every big influencer in LA. After all the backlash, she apologized on her Instagram story and said she's gonna stop partying. But I kinda doubt that's gonna happen, honestly. She's probably just gonna stop filming it, in my opinion. And at number 9, Nikita Dragun. Nikita is another person taking a lot of heat, as she is the link between a lot of parties happening recently. She actually threw the infamous party that was at the Hype House for Larae a few weeks ago too, and she's been seen out at multiple parties, being at all the ones that have been at the Hype House. And since she was getting tons of backlash online, she decided to come out with an apology, or probably better call it a statement. In a video on Instagram, she addressed everything by calling out the haters that are trying to twist her actions, and then saying in another story that people's perceptions of you are not who you are. So here she's trying to say that people calling her out is just hating and twisting the situation, even though with all the video footage that we have of the parties, I don't know how she can say it's getting twisted like we couldn't see it happening. And at number 8, larae. Larae also got a ton of backlash for his party at the Hype House that really started all this drama, with him obviously getting very close and mingling with all the people at the party with no mask on. He even got called out directly by Tyler Oakley, with Tyler tweeting out that these influencers should use their platforms to encourage responsibility during this pandemic. And larae actually responded to this tweet, saying, quote, "I understand 100% where you're coming from, and it was a dumb thing to do. I'll do better and I'll actually take this shit seriously. Appreciate you, Tyler, much love." But as you can expect from the internet, tons of people took it upon themselves to look through a bunch of larae's old tweets, and found a tweet from only a few months earlier where he called out influencers for partying. And obviously that all is not a good look. In at number 7, Nessa Barrett. Again, I'm hitting you with some fresh tea, and that is Nessa Barrett and a ton of other influencers facing backlash for having a party to celebrate the release of her new music video. In the clips you can see there are tons of TikTokers at this party, including Bryce Hall. I didn't see any that were wearing a mask. And this party happened after all the other parties and all the other backlash. So at this point it's very clear that anybody who is still out partying just doesn't really care whatsoever about the virus or getting cancelled online. In at number 6, Amari Stewart. Amari Stewart, who's Tana Mojo's best friend and I believe lives with her, was also seen out at the party that Nessa threw for her music video. Mario Selman was also there too. And from the original videos, it was hard to tell how big of a party Nessa was having, but now looking at these pictures, it was very clear there was a lot more people there than we originally thought. And this was disappointing for me because it just seemed like Amari was slightly responsible after he was seen out at a party wearing a mask. But it's kinda sad to know that this can all still spread to Tana now, through him basically. And halfway through number 5, Charlie and Dixie Dimelio. Even though the Dimelio sisters are praised for being unproblematic queens, unfortunately it didn't seem that way after they were both seen out at larae's birthday party, even with Charlie fresh out of nose surgery. They were seen taking pictures with James Charles, as well as in a few stories with some other people. And even though they got tons of backlash for being at the party with no mask on, they didn't address it whatsoever. And it seems like since that was the only party the two were at, the fans kinda just like let it go and focused on the bigger influencers that have been out to multiple parties. But I was personally still a little heartbroken by this one. In at number number 4, Jake Paul. In typical Jake Paul fashion, Jake threw a day party a few weeks ago to film a new music video, and tons of other influencers were in attendance, including Tana, Mojo, and a ton of Sway House and Hype House members. Then there's even a video on Jake's channel where he meets up with tons of influencers, including Bryce Hall, Taylor Holder, and Tanner Fox. But the crazy part is that Tanner ended up testing positive for the virus only a few days after being in very close proximity with all these people. So it might just be a matter of time before they all get it because of the Jake, Tanner, and Bryce connection. Up at number 3, Erika Costell. Erika Costell and Tana Mojo got major heat after they were very clearly at a party together, and they took an Instagram video of them together yelling, "We don't care," into the camera. And people did not like this. For one part, because they were very clearly at a party, and secondly what they said, because it can be easily interpreted to mean that they don't care about the pandemic or the backlash they're going to be getting. Although it later came out that they were both just referring to the beef between them, basically just clarifying that there's no drama. But the backlash got so bad that Erika ended up apologizing, clarifying that what they said was about the beef, not about the pandemic. Then adding that she shouldn't have been partying in the first place and will take accountability for her actions. Then Tana apologized on her story as well, for not only the Erika thing, but for all of the partying. But it definitely seemed a little less genuine after Erika had already done it. In at number 2, Bryce Hall and Sway House. Bryce Hall is another person in particular that's been out at a lot of parties. But this isn't too shocking to his fans, as he's known for being a party animal, with him even selling merch with that name if you had any doubts. But he has been at every major party recently, including the Hype House parties, Jake Paul's party, and the most recent Nessa party. Him and the other Sway House members have been partying pretty hard, going to parties as well as doing collabs with tons of other YouTubers. So this is another group that could definitely spread the virus pretty easily. And finally, number 1, James Charles. And maybe the person that has gotten the most heat for partying has been James Charles. So James is another person who was spotted out at Larae's birthday party at the Hype House. And he even posted a photo to his Instagram story of him holding a cotton candy, where you can visibly see tons of people in the background, which obviously wasn't a very smart move in hindsight. Then there was even tons of pictures of him taken by photographers at the party, with him hugging people without a care in the world. But after he got tons of backlash, he decided to address it in his most recent video. In the Day in My Life video, he shows everything that he was doing the day of the party, including right up until it started, showing him picking his outfit and riding over in the Uber. But when he showed up at the party, he put this statement in the video, where he says in summary that he cut out the partying from the video, and even though he wears masks and tested negative for the virus, he still knows it was stupid for him to go out and put himself in that situation. And people were happy to see that he at least addressed it, because at that time, no other influencer had. Alright everyone, that's all from me today. What are your thoughts on all these irresponsible influencers that have been out partying while the rest of us have been stuck at home? For me it's a little different because when I go out I'm mostly just nervous of infecting my immediate family because I'm still living with them. But I guess since these influencers live with other irresponsible people, they don't really have that mindset that they could actually like hurt people by going out and spreading it more. But it still just baffles me that they have the nerve to post it all. Like, not even the fact that they did it, but the fact that they're so like confident in it that they post it. It's just a whole other thing. But anyways, before I head out, I'm gonna shout out some comments for my worst MLMs part 2. So Angie said, I hate them all. They ruin women's lives and friendships. Facebook is worse than TikTok. I got a Facebook years ago. People believe any ignorant thing that anyone posts on there. It's really true. I feel like Facebook is really getting nasty these days. It's like the place for everyone to put their opinions and they feel that it's not as public because only your friends can see it, but I've seen a lot of stuff go down on Facebook. Then Riley said, I hate these brands. There's a Monat rep who won't stop DMing me. Yeah, you just gotta hit her with the block. Honestly, they are getting really annoying. I have someone like that too. She's approaching. She doesn't DM me anymore, but she just makes so many stories. It's like, just don't want to see this. Then Jessica said, I did party like and Mary Kay for a hot minute, and once I figured out the time investment wasn't worth it, I peaced out. Yeah, good for you, girl, to know that from the start. I feel like it takes people a lot more time, but hopefully you didn't lose too much money. Then Long Rod said, oh holy crap, I sold Cutco knives when I was in high school. I literally walked door to door with a box of knives when I was 16. Honestly, same. I was about to get pulled into the vector marketing portion. I was like, ooh, I want a marketing internship, and then I went there and I was like, this doesn't seem like marketing. It seems wrong. So then I didn't thankfully do it. Okay everyone, that's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way here, I really appreciate it. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram to be kept up to date with all the news and tea you'll ever need to know. And I'll see you all in the next one.